Hey, Rusted Robot listeners, it's Sean here with a special news bulletin. This past weekend was episode 186 of the Rusted Robot podcast, and I did a crossover episode with my brother's Space Jam podcast because I had to go out of town and meet up some family in the Sioux and whatnot. But while I was away, my co-hosts here on the Rusted Robot podcast all got together. They gathered around Josh's phone and recorded a podcast without me. The first episode of the podcast without Sean. I don't know what to say about that, but they did a good job actually, so I didn't want to throw it away. I didn't want to release it next weekend, so I thought what I would do, and we haven't done this for quite a while actually, is release a midweek supplemental, or what we used to call Rivet's Ready Room. Now we haven't had one of those in a few years, but this will be Rivet's Ready Room episode 11, or episode 186 and a half of the podcast. A lot of good information here. I haven't highly edited the thing because, first of all, because it's been a busy week and I haven't had time. I did get rid of some of the long pauses and whatnot. I haven't had a chance to really go through it and fix it up, but I did put in some movie trailers for them and that kind of thing. So it's entertaining, it's different. I'm leaving the beginning on like they had it because it made me laugh, so I think you'll get a kick out of it too. So here is episode 11 of the Rivet's Ready Room, or episode 1 of the Josh Show, or episode 186 and a half, episode whatever you want to call it. It's just a bonus episode coming out to you guys. I hope you enjoy it. And so, without further ado, here it is. Enjoy.
And now, Rivet's Ready Room! Your supplemental Rusted Robot Show!
Podcast. 3, 2, 1.
So, how do we start this?
I don't know.
Usually Sean starts this.
I'm scared.
We don't know what we're doing.
Okay, there's generally like a call out to the fans.
Oh, I can do that.
Okay, call out to the fans.
Good morning, Rusticles.
There we go. And then Sean introduces himself.
I am your great and powerful host, Kitty, on the fabulous Rusted Robot podcast, and you are listening to my co-hosts,
Josh.
And
Shane.
And
Sarah.
Temporarily.
and then we throw to theme music.
I think so.
Okay, so this is episode 187, or episode 1 of the new and improved.
The hijacked Rusted Robot podcast?
Yeah.
The Rusted Robot Revolution?
Uprising?
The malfunctioning robot.
Ooh, the malfunctioning robot.
Mm.
We can be all of those things.
Yes.
An improved malfunctioning
robot.
Yes.
So, Sean is out of town, and we decided, well, we can do this. We know what we're doing.
We're going with out of town, and we're not telling them that we locked them in the basement?
No, we're not supposed to tell them we locked him in the basement, because now the cops are going to come.
No, it's fine.
The cops don't listen to the
cops are
Rusted
very
Robot.
they're
Occupied?
busy.
Yeah.
Preoccupied.
Yeah, so
That reminds me, I have to get new fish heads.
Yes.
My
Well,
bucket
all
is
of them,
empty.
yes.
Okay, so we're doing this without Sean, so forgive our unpreparedness. Sean does most of the preparing. We're just the talent.
I'm a star.
So, how was everybody's week so far?
My week was good. Very busy.
My week was good.
All right,
I
Sarah.
got 3 whole days off this week, accidentally, and it was magical.
See, that's how you do it. You promote conversation. You don't just end conversation.
See, I know what I'm doing.
Josh made a chopping motion with his hand.
All right, so where do we want to start with? Do we want to start with trailers, or do we want to start with some of the stories we got? Or
I say
general banter.
Let's start with some stories and banter, Josh.
Stories and banter. All right. So, Shane, you apparently brought something about Stanley.
Yes, Stanley was hospitalized this week due to an irregular heartbeat. However, apparently he is fine, and everything is okay.
No.
So, no worries there.
Well, he's...
Don't be negative, Sarah.
He's really old.
He is. He's really, really old.
I mean, the man is 95.
Maybe in the next little bit, though, they'll come up with a thing where he can be a robot.
See, I would very much like to have a robot Stanley. I think that'd be
I
amazing.
feel like Stanley would go for that. Like, I feel like he would be like, yeah, you know what, guys? I'm with this. I will transfer my mind into this robot.
Do you think he'd get like a Terminator body and run around ruling the world?
No, he'd get a body with a hover chair, with an
Ooh.
oversized head and tiny arms.
Oh, yeah.
Why would he have tiny arms?
MODOK.
Exactly. He didn't create MODOK, though, I don't think.
Do you think
he would claim it.
Do you think he's a really big fan of MODOK?
It's,
I mean, probably.
It's Marvel.
Stanley is like Marvel's
I feel like
biggest
if
fan.
you were like, yeah, I feel like if you were going to be a robot and you have most things Marvel, you would have to take something from Marvel, though.
Okay, if you were rich and were able to build yourself any kind of robot body.
Easily the Vision.
Oh yeah? Okay.
Katie's going to go with centipede legs.
Well, actually, I'd want to be a giant centipede. Because if you just need your brain to control it, I want to be huge and able to crush a city.
Sarah, what kind of robot body would you get off of the story of Stanley in the hospital?
I would definitely not take centipede legs because that's creepy.
They're great.
Honestly, I would like something that can change sizes. Like, I wouldn't want to be big all of the time. I would like to be kind of like the Wasp or something like that, because then you can be really little and get into places and
Yeah, that's
creep
not a
on people's
robot body, though.
conversations.
Yeah.
I don't need to do
You
that
can
if
have
I'm
a robot
crushing-
body that switches sizes.
No, you can't.
Well, I don't want a robot body.
Okay.
You could be nanites. You could become many small robot bodies.
I'll
That-
become many small robot bodies that can link
Yeah.
together into one.
Good. That's the right answer, because that's also my answer.
I want to be
Us-
huge and crush cities.
I mean, Ultron would be cool.
I want to be Mechagodzilla. That's what I want. But with centipede legs.
No, that is the most horrifying
You know what?
image ever.
Yeah, I'm changing my answer from Vision to Ultron, just because Ultron looks cooler.
Yeah, well, me and Sarah will be swarms of nanites, and
Take over the entire world.
Mina also wants to be a swarm of nanites. She wants to be the glow cloud.
I'm
From-
the internet.
from-
Yeah,
Basically.
she doesn't know what it is, but
Yeah.
everything that she described was basically that. But she said she wanted to be friends with all the animals and not
rain
have them rain down dead. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
that's okay. So, yeah, the obvious answer is a swarm of nanites.
You guys are wrong.
Or a giant Mechagodzilla with centipede legs.
Swarm of nanites.
But
As a swarm of nanites, you can temporarily become that by arranging your nanites in a certain way.
Okay, but I would choose to stay in that form because reasons.
Okay, so that was Stanley's out of the hospital and doing good.
Yep.
Katie, do you have a story?
I have comic book news.
Comic book news.
Yes. So for the month of February, it kicks off the re-release of Kick-Ass.
Okay.
Yeah, they're re-releasing it, so there's going to be Kick-Ass #1, story by Mark Miller, and cover art
Millar.
by... Oh. Yeah, Millar.
You said Miller.
You can pronounce it Miller, but it's Millar. Anyway, the cover art by John Romita Jr., and there's
John
a couple...
Romita Jr. is great.
Yeah, he really is. Anyway, so it's being released on February 14th, just in time for the Day of Love. Who doesn't think of Kick-Ass?
Right?
On
That's-
Honestly,
Valentine's
I
Day.
would prefer Kick-Ass over like a dozen roses.
What's better than a small
You can keep
girl murdering people?
a book of a small girl murdering. You can't keep a dozen roses.
Oh,
Not
speaking
well,
of
at least.
the book of the small girl murdering, though, they're also having a Hit Girl story released on February 21st.
Oh, there we go.
That's
yeah.
awesome. Hit Girl's the best.
It's only going to be $3.99 American or $5.30 Canadian. The story is also written by Mark Millar, and the art is by Ricardo Lopez Ortiz. And there's a
I'm
couple
not familiar
variant
with him.
covers. Actually, I know some of his art. He's done some really cool. I think it was Star Trek. Star
Okay.
Trek specifically. He had like a big book of it, and it was amazing. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be really good. It says, Hit Girl is back. The pint-sized Punisher meets Polly Pocket has left America behind and set off to serve justice around the world. The first stop is Colombia. A mother seeking vengeance for the murder of her child enlists Hit Girl to destroy his killer. But Mindy has bigger plans for Colombia's most feared hitman. Mark Millar and Ricardo Lopez Ortiz join forces for his first chapter of Hit Girl's world tour in this new ongoing monthly series.
Ooh.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be amazing. And they're also re-releasing the first volume of the Kick-Ass trade paperback on February 14th as well. There's going to be a whole bunch of Kick-Ass this February.
That's
I'm
pretty
more excited
kick-ass.
I'm more excited for Hit Girl than I am for the Kick-Ass.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited that they're starting that too, but I think it's for anybody who's missed their chance to get like the first runs of Kick-Ass, because a lot of people know the story just based on the movies or on what other people have told them, but they haven't actually been able to pick it up because it was out of print for a while, and now it's not.
My dad and I bonded like crazy hard over that movie.
Aww, that was such a sad part.
Speaking of movies, Venom finished filming this week.
Yeah.
So it's now in post-production.
Ooh.
Yes.
All right. How do you feel about that?
I'm starting to feel a little bit better as Tom
Hiddleston?
No.
You just said Tom and then stopped. So
Tom Ham?
Tom Hanks?
No. The guy that's playing
Tom
Spider-Man.
Cruise?
Oh, Spider-Man guy.
Yeah.
He's really pretty.
Well, one of the biggest points of contention of
Holland.
Tom Holland, yes. That bugs me that I didn't get that. I wanted to say Hammond, and I'm like, no, he's not from Jurassic Park.
Or is he?
For a long time, it was said that he wasn't going to be in the movie at all, which you can't really have a Venom movie without Spider-Man at least showing up. But it is now confirmed that he will show up in the movie. So that.
But I thought this wasn't
helps.
linking in with any. Like I thought it was completely separate. Like they weren't allowed to link it in at all.
Well, okay.
Evidently they are.
They own the rights to Spider-Man. Okay. Now, so they can bring him in, but doing so rubs up against the agreement they have with Disney, who owns Marvel, right? So it's kind of, they need permission to bring Spider-Man into the movie, even though they own the rights to Spider-Man, and they could just bring him in, but then that would break the contract they have with Disney if they just, no, we're bringing him in anyways.
And Homecoming made like $880 million.
Which they got to see a large chunk of, so they're like, yeah, let's not mess with that.
Yeah.
What if they're only making like small reference to him? Like in the Supergirl show, how they just showed Superman, but they didn't actually call him Superman, and also you didn't really see him up close.
Apparently he's in the movie as Peter Parker, but not as Spider-Man.
Ah, that's a clever way to get around it.
It's still a connection, like it's still a link. So they're gonna have to be weirdly careful not to cross over too much. I don't know, because it can't not affect everything else if it happens and it's connected. Because the Avengers, I don't think, are gonna be like, oh, Venom exists? That's fine, no worries.
Yeah, but Marvel can just basically say, no, none of that is canon. Just because they make the movie doesn't mean it's canon.
I don't think that they will, though, because, I mean, they still acknowledge the Hulk movie with,
Are you gonna make me look it up?
that guy. Why
Yeah.
am I blanking on names today?
Tobey Maguire.
No, not Tobey Maguire. The guy from Fight Club.
Yeah.
They still acknowledge that. That's still canon. So.
Yeah. But, well, it's pseudo-canon?
No, because Thaddeus Ross was in Civil War. He's still a carryover. They've used clips from that movie in
Yeah, but
the
that was.
MCU.
But it was something that was made before. That doesn't necessarily mean that something that was made now
Yeah,
by a different company they'll consider.
They do, though. Like they
No,
use clips.
No, I mean, I'm not saying the old movie. I'm saying the Venom movie. That doesn't mean they're going to keep the Venom movie as canon just because they kept the Hulk movie from the past.
Yeah, I just don't see the MCU
They might pick and
being
choose.
like the X-Men and being like, this is this and that's that, because their continuity is very good so far.
Their continuity is very good, which means that they need to be in much greater control than, say, Fox and, like, just throw something at it.
Time travel, it's fine.
So, like, even the Hulk, which, yes, they used visual elements from, and the generals come over, but other elements they don't go back to.
No, it's not like they've referenced, like, the Abomination or anything like that.
Which, you think they're in New York, somebody sees the Hulk, and they're like, hey, where's the other giant muscle-bound guy? Shouldn't he be fighting to help Earth? Because somebody would say that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I would be okay with that, though, because he was probably one of the better villains in the MCU.
Yeah, also, they set up for Mastermind and never went back to it.
That would have been good, too.
So, yeah. So it's pseudo-canon, it's mostly canon, but much of it is just pay no attention.
Yeah.
So they may do the same thing with Venom. It may be pseudo-canon, take the stuff we like and just ignore the rest.
Honestly, I hope if it does well, it'll be weird because it's R-rated and stuff, so they have to find some way, but to bring him in and just have Venom kind of like show up somewhere in like another Spider-Man movie or an Avengers movie or something like that, because he is a threat. But it depends how they go, because they're probably going to go more of an anti-hero route than a villain route, but we'll see.
Okay. So normally this is where we would talk about celebrity deaths, but I'm not going to do that because that's dark and depressing, so we're skipping celebrity deaths.
We choose not to.
All right.
Moving on. So they're making Tremors 6.
They are.
Yep. It's Tremors 6, Cold Day in Hell. It's set in South Africa again, just like the last movie. Burt Gummer is back.
Burt has to be back.
Yep.
Burt is Tremors.
So
He's pretty great.
him and his son have started a worm hunting business, and they're hired to...
Do they call them worms or graboids?
Well, they're graboids.
I know, but do they call them worms? Like, do they call their company, like, worm hunting business?
I don't know. I got a tiny synopsis of what's happening here.
Oh, okay.
I have this weird image in my head of them hunting actual worms with like TNT and stuff. Because that is how Burt would
do
hunt
it,
worms.
yeah. Don't worry, I'll have these worms out of your hair in just a moment.
He's sitting there with TNT and an elephant gun.
But then they'd have actual worms raining down from the sky.
So, yeah.
I think I might have actually watched at least part of one of these at one point.
It's so good.
I believe you.
I'm going to get you to watch it.
That's fine.
We have it.
So production started on the movie a year and 2 days ago based on the recording time of this show. So it's close to wrap up.
Awesome.
It's due for a release sometime this year because they like to be accurate.
Of course.
So, yeah, all I got is sometime in 2018. Michael Gross is returning, so is Jamie Kennedy from the previous. So, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
And reading down, apparently I missed, and Shane knew about, because we talked about it before, the Kevin Bacon Tremors TV series is coming out.
It is.
So, like, this surprised the heck out of me, because I don't know how I missed it. I don't know how Shane didn't bring it up on the show to tell me.
I assumed that you knew. I knew you were a Tremors fan.
Yeah, it just kind of skipped over me. So apparently, Kevin Bacon is returning to his role.
I like Kevin Bacon.
Everybody likes bacon. Bacon's
Everybody
great.
likes
Bacon is
yes,
delicious.
it's true. Bacon's delightful.
So,
Have you seen that man dance? Oof,
Yes!
he's a good dancer.
Yes, I have.
so we got some casting news besides the great Kevin Bacon, which all these people get to have the Bacon score of 1. Right?
A
So,
whole new round of degrees of separation from Kevin Bacon.
and the story just reset on me. That's stupid. Website resetting randomly.
So do you remember where it's taking place?
It's taking place again in Perfection.
Ooh.
It is the perfect location.
Both Val, Kevin Bacon, and Earl are returning characters. As is, I can't remember her name. Edit this out, Sean.
Today's just the day of not remembering people's names.
So is Mindy Sterngood, okay, played by Megan Ketch. She was the little girl on the pogo stick in the first movie.
Yep.
She's returning as a charismatic young doctor.
See, it bugs me that she became a doctor considering in the time of graboids, she was on a pogo stick.
Uh-huh. She lived in a town with a population of less than 20.
Yes, but you're being attacked by graboids.
They didn't
She
know
didn't
about
know
that.
yet.
She didn't know, but still.
Remember, because her mom took her home and they were separate from the rest of the people for a while, and
This
they
is
couldn't
true.
communicate with them because they were up on the roof and there's no phones on the roof.
You're right. She
Well,
was wearing
headphones.
Yeah,
and just-
so they were all
Yeah,
standing
she
up
had
there
no
yelling
idea.
at her, and she was counting how many revolutions of hopping on the pogo stick she was doing, and also singing.
I can't remember the song.
Ooh, a diddy diddy dum diddy do. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Some loyal.
No, not Pretty Woman. But yeah. I know that song.
If you had that new fancy Google phone, you could say, search that, just the humming, and they would find it.
Ooh, yeah, it probably would.
Wait,
Because
you can
supposi-
find things off of humming?
Supposedly, yeah, no, when the commercial for it, it's all like, Google, play the hipster song with whistling, and then it brings up the weird hipster song with whistling.
Yeah, nobody knows the name of that because nobody cares.
Hipsters
Google's
care.
just slowly taking over.
Do they care what it's called?
Uptown?
Probably not.
No, it's not Uptown Girl.
No, not Uptown Girl. Uptown.
Uptown girl.
No, I don't think so.
Anyways, so new character, Emily. Oh god, and it reset again. This stupid website. It's like a 500-word article and it resets every minute. So unless you're reading really quickly. Emily Tremaine from Vinyl, The Blacklist, The Wolf of Wall Street will be playing Emily McKee. Okay. That they didn't bother changing the first name. I hate it when they do that. The daughter of Kevin Bacon, returning from the original film, Val McKee. She apparently is estranged from her father, and they're trying to get back to know him again.
Of course.
And finally, I hate this website. And there's another guy who's new, but I can't get to it because this stupid website is driving me insane. Anyways, moving on.
Moving on.
Trailers.
What do you got for us this week?
Okay, well, so let's start with the big one, because we have to. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Playing that here.
I just have one question. When Cap needed help, if I'd asked you, would you have come?
I guess we'll never know. But if you had, you'd have never been caught.
I do some dumb things, and the people I love the most, they pay the price.
Thanks to you, we had to run. We're still running.
Let's go.
Maybe you just need someone watching your back. Like a partner.
Hold on. You gave her wings and blasters. So I take it you didn't have that tech available for me? No, I did.
And?
That was awesome.
I can't wait to see it. It's going to be fantastic.
I liked the knife running. The knife running was fancy.
Okay, so I'm super jazzed about it.
You know what? The first one, I liked it, but it's probably in the lower end for me for all the MCU movies.
It was so
It
good.
was good. I couldn't get into it that much.
It took me a really long time to watch it.
It was good
When
though,
it came
right?
out, it was. I liked it. When it came out, I don't remember what I was doing, but I wasn't, like, available to watch movies because I lived in the middle of nowhere.
I know why I didn't like it. I watched it in theaters, and I was really, really hungover.
Oh, then that doesn't count as not
Yeah,
liking
no,
it.
I think my brain just automatically attributes Ant-Man to being hungover now.
Oh, that's
I watched
unfortunate.
it when it came out on Netflix.
as a movie, it doesn't follow the same superhero thing you're used to.
No, it's a heist movie. It's not
I think that's why I like it.
But I love heist movies. Like the Ocean's movies, all that stuff. I love them.
I also love heist movies, but I also love that, like, he's not just another tragic superhero. There's too many of them. Too many.
Yeah. It's more like, hey, you have some skills. Come over here and help us out.
Yeah, and he was funny. Like, there's a lot of humor.
I am
in the
happy that
Ant-Man
they
movies.
went with Scott Lang. Just because it's a little bit more easygoing and
I
stuff.
like in the trailer how offended he was that they had the tech back then, but he didn't get wings and a blaster.
He just chose not to give them to him. He's like, no, that's not for you.
You're a criminal. I don't trust you.
Which is sad, though, because he's really fairly trustworthy, like, considering that, like, he is a criminal and, like...
He's probably one of the more trustworthy people, yeah.
Do you think it'll still have that guy who just runs down everything that happened really fast?
I'm fairly sure he is, because he's still been part of, like, the hype for it.
Oh, good.
I
would watch a whole movie just about him and his friends and their dumbass adventures.
It is confirmed that he's going to be in at least one more movie. So
we're going to stop for a moment here. We're going to say goodbye to Sarah, because Sarah's got to go to work because it's 11:28, and she's got to be there for 11:45.
It only takes me like 10 minutes to get there.
That's why we're pausing here, so we can say goodbye to our friend Sarah.
Bye, Sarah.
Bye.
Everybody yell out, bye, Sarah, wherever you are.
Hi, I'm Hugo Award-winning science fiction writer Robert J. Sawyer, and you're listening to the Rusted Robot Podcast.
Okay, we've lost our Sarah. All right. Getting back, next trailer, When We First Met.
She was the girl of my dreams.
That was the moment I knew that it was love.
We met 3 years ago. You are a league of their own,
Are
right?
you Garth?
Excellent. What is your favorite drink?
Grapefruit juice with vodka and 3 maraschino cherries. Hey, do you want to get out of here?
Yeah. It was the perfect first date.
These things are so much fun.
But I waited too long. And then I got hugged.
Oh, this is so nice to have a good guy friend. I can't even tell you.
To Ethan and Avery.
I'm in love with Avery. If only I could go back and do everything differently. I could be the kind of guy she would want. Could you tell me what year it is?
It's 2014.
Holy shit. I just traveled back in time. Right now, I have someone to meet. What's your favorite drink? Mine is grapefruit juice with some vodka and exactly 3 maraschino cherries.
That's my favorite drink, too.
What?
This is the psycho I was telling you about.
You didn't guess that I was an army brat. You already knew that. You're a stalker.
Stalkers wear like trench coats and no underwear. And I am clearly wearing underwear. Look.
Hit him in the balls, hit him in the dick!
The photo booth is a time machine. This is gonna be the best night of your life.
I can deal with best night of my life.
Just follow what I do. Ready? What's up, girl?
What's up, girl?
Are you doing a Joker impersonation?
This is like, it was good.
If all else fails, be an asshole.
Be an asshole.
Not hard asshole, soft asshole.
Don't forget your leather pants.
Oh my God. I went full asshole. I have no control over any of this. I make a decision, and then I wake up 3 years later with the consequences. I thought things were supposed to happen for a reason.
Things happen for no reason at all, but they create opportunities. The question is, can you recognize that next opportunity when it matters the most?
As long as I keep dreaming on, I keep dreaming. I keep dreaming on, I keep...
Hey! Oh my God. That's the stalker!
I got a bomb! He's got a bomb! I got him out! It's fine. I'm sorry my bomb threat ruined your magical evening. Have a great life.
I keep dreaming on.
I think it looks hilarious.
It looks silly. It looks like there's a lot of slapstick humor.
I really, really like.
I'm not sure who this actor is. I've seen him in other things. I don't really like his style of acting.
Oh, he's hilarious.
I wouldn't go see it in the theater. I feel like there would be a waste of money to go and see it in theater.
It's a Netflix original, so you won't have to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like he is wasting an opportunity with the whole time travel aspect. Like, if you find a machine that can travel you through time, and he's just wasting it.
Yeah, but this is like the actor and the other people in the movie are more like kind of stoner comedies.
Yeah.
Kind of deal.
Yeah.
So he's not gonna be really smart. Like probably what most people know him from is either Pitch Perfect.
I've never seen that.
Or Workaholics.
Never seen that.
Workaholics is hilarious. It's a TV show. It's great. It's like The Office if The Office was all.
Ironically, I could never watch Workaholics because I never stopped working long enough to watch it.
It's so funny. No, I think it'll be funny. It's definitely worth a watch, like especially on Netflix.
Yeah, I'll watch it on Netflix.
Good. But by our standard methodology, it's not a theater movie.
No, this is a
small screen.
Yeah, this is like kind of like a
kick
just
back,
boring kind of bored night at home.
Yeah. So we all agree, like, it looks funny, but we'll watch it if there's nothing else on.
Pretty much.
It's a good date night movie.
I don't think so.
Josh and I started watching Black Lightning.
I have not watched Black Lightning. I'm very hesitant to watch Black Lightning. It doesn't look that good to me.
I don't know how I feel about it. It was entertaining.
Okay, so we haven't had our 3 episodes yet. Only 2 episodes have dropped. Okay. So you can't even give it the 3 episodes.
Oh, so they're releasing them
weekly.
Periodically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's also playing on TV.
Okay.
So they're releasing it slowly. I'm liking it so far, but it is not a must-see.
Yeah. Like, even just the trailer and stuff like that, I found it didn't grab me.
I'm just kind of getting irritated with people who have these really great abilities and have, like, the worst decision-making skills, but also they have, like, a really good job, most of them. Like, it's like, how did you manage to get your life so right? And just you fail at basic decision making. And he's also another one of those, like, oh, I can't be a hero because family and blah reasons. Oh, because love. Nah.
His ex is a terrible person.
I just kind of want to stomp on his feet and say, go be a hero. You go and do it.
Yeah.
You have powers. Go save the city. It needs saving. But yeah. But he's not one of those people. He doesn't have any drive as a superhero.
I dislike his ex-wife.
Okay.
His ex-wife, you're supposed to be like, oh, he really wants to get back together and they really love each other. She's a terrible person.
Yep.
He has abilities. She originally encouraged him to use his abilities to help people. And then she's like, well, if you keep doing this, I'm going to leave you. And then she does. Because you can't just stop being a hero.
No.
Also, she seems to equate being a hero and using his powers to addiction, and it's not the same thing.
No, it's not.
No. Also, because, like, he looks like he feels fine while he's using his powers. He looks really awful when he takes the medication to suppress his powers, and then she feels guilty and tells him, oh, I feel so guilty. And it's like, yeah, you should feel guilty. You're terrible.
Honestly, in most shows where the protagonist is someone's husband or a child or something like that, the mother or the wife is always my least favorite character.
Which is unfortunate, because they should, like, this lady could have been better, but she's being
Like,
awful.
for some reason, they don't make them maternal or loving or something like that. They always make them kind of like the avarice. Like, they're always the foil to something else.
Yeah.
So, generally, they put them into 2 ways. They make them you have to do this, you have to, like, you choose between me and this, right?
Yeah, I don't know
Or
why
they
that's
make
always
them the damsel. Like,
which is also irritating.
it's like,
Mary
no,
Jane.
like, how about you just be a person?
Mm-hmm. Like, my 2 least favorite female characters in all of media are the wife from Breaking Bad, because she only exists to cause Emotional turmoil.
Didn't she just not want her husband to be a drug dealer? Because that's like...
No, she's not great. She was also cheating on him and did a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, but isn't that because, like, he was always making drugs?
No, it's because she's a horrible person.
Is it?
That's what I think.
He wasn't great either. He was a school teacher making drugs and selling
least favorite female character of all time is Buffy's mom. Because, again, she only existed to cause friction.
I don't really remember enough about Buffy's mom because she was in it so seldomly, and then she just suddenly, like, stopped existing, which was horrible.
Yeah. But, like...
No, she died.
They killed her.
Yeah, but, like,
Brain cancer.
That was really...
That was a horrible episode.
Really, really sad, yeah.
Yeah, but, yeah, you're right. Her only purpose is to be in the way.
Exactly.
But at least, like, her thing kind of made sense. She's a mom and didn't want her kids out.
Her kid is a superhero.
I know, but, like...
Even after she found out that her daughter is a supernatural superhero slaying the forces of evil and had been for years, including the first master vampire.
I know. It's just, like, if I found out that my child was, like, a stunt person... I would have a difficult time getting over that they were doing that.
Yes, but she's superhumanly superhuman. Like,
yeah,
I know.
At this point, Buffy has already died.
I know, but I'd be really mad at them for dying. Be like,
no, it's alright. She came back.
Yeah, no, that's not the same. I would be upset too. I kind of get the whole thing about how Buffy's mom was just like, she was working like all the time.
You know what? I get it from like a maternal standpoint and stuff like that. But from a TV show standpoint...
Oh, yeah, from a TV show
honestly
standpoint...
honestly just makes things grind to a halt. And all you want it to do is move on. And it doesn't because that character stops it from doing so.
Yeah, but like that's what she's supposed to do. And things aren't supposed to be easy for a teenager who has superpowers. You're supposed to have somebody who's just like, maybe you should do your homework.
Yeah, but for a show that, like, one episode she'll be hunting vampires or werewolves or something like that, to the next episode, it just be her mom being like, no, you can't do any of this, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It messes with the pace.
The plot having to revolve around, well, my mom says I can't go out, I'm grounded, so I gotta sneak out.
Yeah, but that's how teenager stuff was in the 90s.
So, no, Shane is right, that is a terrible character. It's not just her.
I know.
She's a grinding example to Shane.
Yeah.
But it's that whole thing.
It is unfortunate that women always get casted that way.
Yeah.
And it could be the wife, it could be the girlfriend, it could be the mother, it could be even the sister.
Yeah.
Right? But those characters, they're grinding. You get the male equivalents too.
You do.
I know.
Not as often because there's not enough.
Because they're usually the hero.
Yeah, the male is usually the main character. So,
or like even in the example
but you get it with
like,
fathers.
Commissioner Gordon is a good example of that for Barbara. But the thing is, like, unless you're reading Batgirl, like if you're watching Batman, she's a side character and you barely see anything about her. So it's only like a one-time thing where you might find out, my daughter snuck out again. I have to stop that. So it's like only one time, occasionally.
Yeah, and so and unfortunately these characters, they tend not to have much in the way of development.
No, they just stay
that
way.
Buffy's mom was the same way pretty much.
She goes to work, she's tired, she's grouchy, she doesn't want her to go out anywhere. She cooked food, it's cold again, blah, blah, blah.
Died of brain cancer. Normal, everyday mom.
Honestly, I did not like her until that moment, and then I was like, oh no.
Yeah, well...
And it's not really her that you like, it's...
You feel bad for the
impact
Buffy.
that it's going to have on Buffy and Dawn, her imaginary sister that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Buffy, it's weird.
It is so weird, but it's so
It is
good.
really, really good.
And, like, you can't blame this on, like, oh, Shane just doesn't like female characters. No, he's complaining because Buffy is being interfered with.
Yeah, Buffy's really cool. But, like, it's unfortunate that happens so much. Like, back in the 80s, there was, like, a weird trope of, like, people would solve problems by running away. They were always running away. That'll teach them. Do you remember? That was always, like, a thing in, like, all the old 80s cartoons. Like, Jubilee did it in the very first episode of X-Men.
Yeah, well...
So at least people don't do that anymore.
That's true.
This is probably just the new trope that they have to get over. And it's just because they're using
I mean,
older
I don't even
material.
think it's that much now. Like, it still happens, but I think it was a bigger thing in the 90s.
In the 80s, it was big, and then it just kind of died out in the 90s.
Yeah, but I mean, like, the
the
one
whole
character,
thing
like, standing in the way and stuff like that. I think that was bigger in the 90s.
I think it's slowly dying out, but I think a lot of it, too, is that the people now, they're from previous media. Like, it's being made into a show now, but they don't want to change it because that would upset the people who loved the original material. Also, that would, like, change the whole dynamic of the person.
Maybe.
So part of the thing is, like, you still run into these characters, but like they're slightly more nuanced these days, but not by much.
No, characters are generally written a little bit better now, but
look at the Flash. Season 1, that's Iris. That's her job.
Yeah.
Like,
Iris isn't great now either, though. From what I've heard, I don't think I would like her character.
So yeah, there's problems with the Iris character. But getting back to Black Lightning, which we were on several minutes ago. So yeah, the ex-wife, I don't like her. The two daughters, they're interesting. The youngest daughter shows a proclivity for addictive behavior and poor decision making, which is going to lead to her becoming that kind of character if they're not careful.
Of course.
I think her boyfriend is a good character.
Her boyfriend is a fantastic character. So her boyfriend was her best friend, like, spoilers. And they started dating after she got kidnapped. Okay? He's like, I'll miss my opportunity. I thought I missed my opportunity with you. So you want to date? Let's date. You want to date? So they're dating. The next day at school, she comes to school, she hangs out with a friend hiding in the gym, and gets drunk. Then she finds him working out in one of the workout rooms, because at the school you have time to just go work out in a workout room.
Of course.
And she walks in, and she's like, YOLO, and she takes a drink, and he's like, what the hell? And he takes the bottle away from her, and he's like, no, I'm not putting up with this. I can't put up with this kind of thing. This is pulling you backwards. You need to move forwards.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Fantastic.
Her other friend was a terrible friend.
Well, her other friend was just an idiot.
Do the daughters have superpowers?
Who knows?
Well, no, we see it. You see at the end of episode 1, because we're already in the spoiler section. But yes, the one daughter, her hand glows, and she just smashes through a sink.
Oh.
And then in episode 2...
Other things happen.
We're already in the spoiler section.
Okay.
She throws a guy.
But Shane hasn't seen it yet.
Shane doesn't care about spoilers.
Yeah, not for Black Lightning.
Oh, really? Okay.
She goes to the pharmacy to get some sleeping pills, because she's, again, having the anxiety thing that she had when she first broke the sink, and the store's getting robbed, and she's like, oh crap, she's having her panic attack now, and she's trying to get down because the guy's like, get down to the ground, and he comes over and grabs her by the neck, and she just grabs him and throws him over the top of the aisle.
I think he hits one.
Knocks one over and falls into the next one.
Yeah, and he's out. He's out cold.
And so she goes over to the counter and puts down her pills that she was going to buy and just walks out.
You know what is a show that I have to start watching?
What's that?
Lucifer.
I heard that's really good.
It's really good.
Apparently it's really good. However, the reason I have to watch it is Tom Welling is in it now.
I like Tom Welling.
Yes. He is kind of like the human side to it. Like, he's still a mythological or religious character, or however you want to say it.
He's not mortal.
No, he's immortal.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if this is spoilers or not.
Wait, is he is a mortal or he is immortal? Because I didn't quite hear.
Yeah, okay. Spoilers. Apparently, he is Cain. So he's the first murderer. But he has become the chief of police because he doesn't want to do that kind of thing anymore. But he's still immortal.
Okay.
So he's like the human conscious-y side to Lucifer, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know, I haven't
pretty
watched
cool.
it yet, but I really want to now.
It sounds pretty cool. I think I would watch it. Julie's been watching it, and she says it's good, so...
I really like Tom Welling.
I really like him, too. I enjoyed him in Smallville for a really long time.
He was great in Smallville.
Yeah.
Honestly, that show wouldn't have gone on as long as it did without Tom Welling.
Yeah, I also liked the guy who played Lex, though.
Lex was amazing. That show should have ended when he left.
Yeah, that's actually why I stopped watching it.
Yeah.
That and Lana.
Oh, Lana was horrible.
I didn't like her, but it's not why I stopped watching it. I
No,
stopped
but-
watching it because Lex's character left, and I felt like without the two of them together, it just had a better dynamic.
Like, one of my
Because
favorite
they were friends.
One of my favorite
Enemies.
moments and lines from television, period, is when Clark and Lex are standing in the barn, and they're like, oh yeah, this is going to be the beginning of a beautiful friendship. And I know the line is stolen and stuff, but it was just really good. Lana is another one of those characters, though.
Yeah, I don't like Lana.
Like, Lana was bad.
Yeah.
I could
She's
not
one of the
handle
most
her.
egregious examples of that.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
That, and they repeated things a lot. Like, anytime they did a body swapping episode, because there was almost at least one every season, that bugged me, too. That was just bad.
Yeah, I like body swapping episodes, but I like when it's just the one and then that's it.
Yeah. Like, they did body swapping a lot. They did other people all of a sudden have Clark's powers a lot.
Yeah, Red Kryptonite a lot.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
just because people want to see Bad Boy
I
Superman.
mean, like, and the episodes were a little bit, you knew what was going to happen. He was going to fight them a little bit. He was going to start winning. Somehow, somewhere, some way, someone was going to have some kryptonite. And then he was going to get stuck for a minute.
Well,
Yeah, it wound up becoming very formulaic at some point.
I mean, all
he
TV shows do.
Also, he, particularly in the early one, he's early Superman. His powers aren't fully in place, which means he's not Superman, where it's like, well, you got a green rock? No, you lose.
Yeah, like the way that they slowly introduced his powers were fantastic as well. Like the whole heat vision being puberty thing.
Yeah.
Like that was great. They did it well.
It was really well done. I enjoyed it a lot.
Not to mention, like, the special effects that they use, the superhero shows that they do now, especially The Flash, wouldn't really be where they are, because all of the fast-moving speed stuff that they use, they took directly from Smallville.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Also, I find it funny that his flight ability is directly related to his sexual arousal.
I thought that was... What?
The only time he flies in the show, previous to the end of the show,
he's dreaming.
He's having sexual fantasy dreams about Lana.
Oh yeah, then you'd wake up and fall back into bed.
Oh yeah, this is true.
Maybe it's a feeling of freedom?
Yeah, I think it's like a happy kind of...
Yeah,
You would definitely,
but the only example we have is sexual fantasy thoughts.
But I think
that
it's
only
like
happens like twice.
I think it's all the whole idea of like, you know, I'm so happy I could fly.
And then he does.
Yeah.
No. Because that doesn't show in the show. To me, in the show, all they show is sexual thoughts.
See, my biggest
That
issue...
means that when he's flying around as Superman later...
No, I don't like that idea at all.
My biggest issue with the
so
whole
scary
him
to
like
be
hovering in his sleep is it's well recorded that Superman's flight is an act of strength, not of him being able to fly. So how is he doing? Is he pushing off with his excitedness?
He also used to
He actually
to fly.
no,
when
it
he-
is now flight is flight. It is separate from his leaping.
Is it?
Yeah.
Was it at that time though?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you remember?
Because he can hover.
That's true. You're right.
So his leaping is related to how he learns to fly,
Okay.
but when he's flying, it's a separate power from his enhanced strength leaping.
Okay. So he's not hulking it anymore.
No, he hasn't hulked it since the 70s, 60s.
Okay. Honestly, I don't know that much about Superman outside of Smallville and like a little bit of other stuff. But
In the original Superman movies in the 70s with, I forget his name, but...
Christopher Reeves?
Yes, but I was actually going to go with the director.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
Yeah, no, we're not. We could look it up, but we're not going to. In that one, he can fly straight out, just fly.
Yes.
So it has to be at least 10 years prior to that, and those came out in 77, I think.
figured they just did that for the movie for reasons.
He could fly.
Okay.
Because, like, in space, how would he change direction? He can't jump off space.
No.
So he has full-on flight.
Is it Richard Donner?
The Donner
Yes.
films.
Yeah.
So, yeah. How do we get on this? Black Lightning?
Yeah.
Yeah, somehow from Black Lightning.
All right. So,
No, we went to just talking about Tom Welling for this one.
I switched it over to Lucifer.
Yeah.
which then led to Tom Welling. Tom Welling led to Smallville. Smallville led to Superman's flying.
Also, just before we go, you have to watch Lois and Clark, because if you like Smallville, you'd like Lois and Clark.
I've heard good things about Lois and Clark.
It's really good.
Particularly the early seasons before she finds out.
Right up until 9, I found it was good. Like, if you just watch straight through till 8 and then just end the series there, because there's also a series 9, but that's why they canceled it. It was bad.
Yeah.
But I like particularly like the early episodes where it's before Lois finds out, and like it's the I'll be right back.
Yeah. I think he really could have just explained it as having like some kind of like stomach issue.
Maybe.
But nobody would have talked about that in the 90s anyway.
Ooh, offshoot. If you can find it, watch it, because it was kind of good, but also kind of horrible at the same time. They tried to do, on the CW as well, an offshoot of Smallville, and it was Aquaman. But they got the guy that played Oliver Queen in Smallville to play Aquaman, and
that's not confusing,
right?
I saw that one, and I was telling somebody about it, and then when I was telling them that the guy who played Oliver Queen was Aquaman in that one particular episode.
Oh, they only made the pilot.
Like the pilot for it,
Yeah.
I was just like, he was Aquaman, and they were like, no, he wasn't. And I was like, yes,
Yeah.
he was. But I think they missed it, because later on in the same show, they changed who Aquaman was to a different person, like a totally different person. It was very weird. Because they had him in a later show.
Okay. But yeah, like, it was decent, but if you can find it, watch it. It's worth a watch.
I think we've actually seen it. We watched it together.
I have the Smallville Deluxe Edition box set, and it has all the seasons in it. It has the original pilot for Smallville, like the black and white Smallville.
Oh, cool.
It has the Aquaman pilot. It came with a copy of the Daily Planet, and a bunch of other stuff. It was really cool.
It came with a copy of the Daily Planet?
It came with a copy of the Daily Planet.
That's so appealing.
I should find it and I'll show it to you. Be somewhere in my house.
That sounds great. You should frame it.
Maybe I should.
Alright, so normally this is where we'd have reader mail.
But we ain't got none.
So, yeah. So, moving along, we're going to move into hypothetical discussion area. Because I'm out of stories. Are you out of stories?
I can rant for a while, but I'm out of actual stories, yes.
Katie, do you have any more actual stories?
No, but before we go, I think we should talk about the Northern Ontario Expo and the Comic-Con and the dates that it is on.
April 21st and 22nd.
Yep, and it's taking place at the McIntyre Arena this year.
It is. So, get your tickets soon. Get your save the weekend. Book a hotel. Come down.
Yeah, it'll be
Our
great.
Australian listeners, come on over. Stop by. I might run a D&D game at Jump City at some point on that weekend.
It'll be fun. I know we also have listeners in, I think, Vietnam.
Yeah, come on over.
We invite you.
You'll have to pay your way in your hotel, but come on over.
Yes, it'll be great. Good times will be had by most. Not all.
Yeah, so...
Somebody's always a stick in the mud.
That person can join Sean in the basement.
We have plenty of fish heads.
Do you know why Sean's in the basement? He got the address wrong.
The address of?
Jump City.
Jump City, you don't say!
Yeah, you got the address wrong. Now, just to be right, Shane, do you want to see if you can join Sean in the basement? Where's the Jump City located now?
It is located in the 101 Mall.
Uh-huh.
I do not know the street address of the 101 Mall. I just know where it is.
38 Pine Street North.
There we go.
Okay.
And Algonquin.
Well, its address is 38 Pine Street North. That can be found in the corners of Algonquin
It takes
and
up
Pine.
the whole block. You can't miss it. It's huge.
Spruce and Algonquin. 5th and Spruce and 5th
And Pine.
and
North.
Pine.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's in there. It's Unit 106 in the
It's
basement.
the lower concourse.
Go down the...
That's another word for basement. Lower concourse.
Lower concourse sounds a lot better than it's in the basement.
It's in the basement, yo.
A concourse requires there to be an open space in the middle, which there is.
Yeah.
If there's a sealed floor, then it is not a concourse, it is a basement.
Yeah. Most people up here know it as the basement. We only have one place that has a concourse, and it's the 101.
Yeah, it's in the lower level. Just go down the glass elevator. There we go.
Yeah.
There's the obligatory plug. Okay. So, hypotheticals this week. I got a question. If you be friends with any one superhero, you gotta be their close best friend. You gotta choose one. Who would be your superhero Why? And what disadvantages might you see?
Oh, I know who I pick. I pick Spider-Man.
You pick Spider-Man.
I pick Spider-Man.
And why?
Why? Because he has a very good history of, besides Gwen Stacy, saving his friends. And really the only disadvantage would be all of his villains try to attack his loved ones. And I don't think I thought this through. But I don't care. I would love to be best friends with Peter Parker.
How many of his best friends have been killed straight out?
1.
Okay. How many of his friends have been kidnapped multiple times?
All of them.
Almost all of them.
Okay. How many of his friends have turned and become his villains?
Almost all of them.
Okay.
I get to become a villain.
The Stalker.
I'm excited.
Okay, so...
Also, the other downfall would be that a lot of the time I bet his hands are sticky.
Why?
Because of the spider webs.
They don't come out of his hands.
Okay, well also he's got like the
He's gotta grab
stickiness.
them, though.
He's got the grabby stuff.
Yeah, but his hands aren't always sticky. It's an electromagnetism thing. It's not a...
Well, sometimes he gets stuck to stuff. Like...
Well, yeah, because that was
Dishes.
before he knew how to control it. But then as soon as he figured out how to control the impulse, it wasn't a big deal.
Katie, which superhero would you choose?
Superman.
You choose Superman?
Yep.
Why and what problems might you foresee?
Because you can't beat Superman. Unless you have kryptonite.
Okay.
Which most people don't.
Okay.
Very few of his friends are actually attacked often. It's pretty much just Lois and Jimmy, and he's friends with other people, but they don't get attacked very often. It's usually his coworkers, and I wouldn't work with him. I'm dyslexic and can't be in a newspaper. It would all be written wrong all the time. I'd be like, his neighbor across the street who brings him cookies. I'd be like, hey Clark, what's going on? You want some cookies? Because that's what I do. I bake cookies. And that would be me. I'm kind of like an NPC. I'm a very laid-back friend.
And what problems did you foresee, potentially?
Occasional laser holes coming through the wall. Because he's never really broken things, but sometimes he just lasers stuff, and it just
I don't
straight
know.
through walls.
If he gets really excited, your area might experience earthquakes and such. A la Smallville.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen super often. Plus, he could save me because he's Superman.
Plus,
and he would, because
He'd
I'd
be a
his
little
friend.
busy.
No.
Plus,
Not too busy to save me.
in Superman stories, large threats to entire regions often occur.
Yeah, but if you live in a place with superheroes, that's gonna happen to you.
Brainiac might bottle you up.
Like in a bottled city?
Yeah.
I would love to live in a bottled city. I'd be all tiny and cute and shook around by Julie all the time. Ha ha ha. Julie would be evil. You know she would. It'd be great.
I thought about this, and I was like, oh, it's a tough one. And, I would take Freakazoid.
That would be amazing! Oh my god, I didn't even think of that. Freakazoid is great.
Freakazoid.
Mostly because I want to see what Freakazoid becomes in the modern internet age.
Oh god.
Because he is a reference-based superhero.
What are his powers anyway?
Anything.
He can't fly.
He can fly, but only if he's not trying to fly.
Okay.
He can literally basically do whatever he wants.
All of his powers are reference-based superpowers.
And references have never been as strong as they are now.
Yeah, did you guys get how, so I guess he'd be made out of memes.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Oh god, he's made out of Tide Pods.
Oh no!
The Rusted Robot does not endorse eating your Tide Pods.
Yep. That's a bad idea. But, Animaniacs is getting a reboot.
Yep.
Yeah, but they're not just redoing the old stories over again, they're getting new stories.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys remember...
It's not even a reboot. It's a continuation.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
Do you guys remember when they made the Looney Tunes into superheroes? In the 90s?
I vaguely remember
Early
seeing...
2000s.
Was it early 2000s?
Yeah.
I saw a preview for it, but to be honest, I was actually too busy.
It was... The closest thing I can attribute it to was the Mighty Ducks TV show.
Oh, I loved the Mighty Ducks TV show. I don't know why. It was terrible.
It was terrible.
And I
fun.
loved it. I watched it all the time. I had one of the bad guys as an action figure.
Yeah.
I might still have him somewhere. Probably at Jump City. In a bucket.
I have something I have to say comic-wise. I don't know if everyone already knows this, but I don't care because I am super psyched. Norman Osborn is back in the Marvel Universe as the Green Goblin, but he also has probably the coolest mashup I can possibly imagine.
Who does he get mashed up with?
Carnage.
Oh, yeah?
Norman Osborn found where the government was hiding the Carnage symbiote and is now the Red Goblin.
Are they friends? Or do they fight each other?
No, they are the same being.
Doesn't Carnage talk to itself all the time?
Yeah.
Okay, well, then they're like a bunch of separate minds in there, right?
That doesn't make sense to me, because I haven't kept up with my Carnage lore. But as I understood Carnage back in the 90s, Carnage could not be separated from Cassius.
Cletus
Cassidy, that's it.
And the Carnage symbiote are connected. It has bonded with his blood.
Yeah,
No matter what, technically, if you wanted to look at it this way, there could be two Carnages. Because it's in his blood and it reproduces in his blood. So he can constantly, even after it's been taken away, after a while, like, regenerate it, basically.
Oh.
However, the main body of Carnage can be separated from Cletus. So they were holding it in a base at the bottom of the ocean, pretty much. And Osborn was like, well, I want it. So,
yeah.
Being Norman Osborn, he took it.
That's awesome. Does it talk to itself still?
I'm not 100% sure.
So,
I haven't actually read the comic yet.
Because the Carnage, the original Carnage with Cassidy, it was a perfect union of the two, which is why he said I.
Exactly.
He's the only symbiote that said I. All the other ones say we.
That's right. But does it go back to saying we now?
I'm not sure.
Well, it sounds cool.
I am really excited to see how it plays out.
Alright, so I'd like to hear from everybody. Please write in to Sean so that tell him that you missed him on this episode, and that you tell us your superhero friend, why, and what you foresee as a problem. So this is where we normally end it. And
what if you choose to be friends with a villain?
That's not the hypothetical.
I mean, my hero makes me a villain.
You're literally stealing another hypothetical I do down the line.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so that's been episode 187
of the Rusted Robot Podcast.
Yeah, I don't.
You mean the malfunctioning robot podcast?
The Robot Revolution.
The Robot
Revolution.
Yeah. Do all the things in the normal way with contacting us on the things with the things, iTunes and such, and Stitcher, and the Facebook, because we're on the Facebook at Rusted Robot, facebook.com/Rusted Robot Podcast, I think.
I think all of that sounds wrong, but you guys know what to do.
Yeah, it's in the stinger after this anyways. Sean, pick an appropriate song for this. I don't know. Something. Maybe that song that Katie was trying to find. Just put a snippet.
You want to know what it's called?
Nope. We're ending it here.
This has been another episode of the Rusted Robot Podcast. You can contact us by emailing therustedrobot@gmail.com or tweeting us at therustedrobot. Visit our website at therustedrobot.podbean.com. And, if you would, please check us out and like us on Facebook. A 5-star review in iTunes is appreciated. The Rusted Robot Podcast was written, produced, scored, edited, engineered, and directed by Sean Vanderloo. Your co-host was Josh Montney. Don't forget to visit Jump City Comics in the 101 Mall and listen to our other show, the Soulforge Podcast. Visit Sean on Twitter and Instagram at Darth Vaderloo.
The Rusted Robot Podcast. Think about it.
This has been a Valley of Vanderloo podcast production, all rights reserved.
This transmission ends now.